Good Friday afternoon to you. I'm Storm Search 7 meteorologist Brian James. All right, let's talk about what we have going on for the upcoming weekend. It looks like most of Saturday is not going to be too bad, but Sunday, that's when most of the area is going to see some snow. There will be some icing possibilities, mainly across the far southern part of the Panhandle down to the South Plains, closer to Lubbock. Some of the areas that have seen some freezing rain during the day today may see some more icing as we head towards Sunday, but I think for most of the high plains, we are going to see some snow, and I'll talk about that coming up. First off, looking at what we call the water vapor imagery, shows all the water or the moisture, water vapor in the air, and what you see with the brighter white areas are all the clouds and higher levels of water vapor. But back toward the west, you see how this powerhouse upper level storm system has that pinwheel effect, and it's spinning counterclockwise with some dry air wrapping around it. So a classic cutoff upper level storm system, and we still expect that to slide off toward the east. Let's show you what's going to happen with that. You can see that storm system again back toward the west of us, making its way off toward the east during the day tomorrow and continuing its track off toward the east during the day Sunday and on into Monday as well. By Monday morning and Monday afternoon, that upper level storm system is going to be sitting right on top of us, and eventually it's going to get a push down toward the south into the heart of Texas, then slide even more off toward the east as we head toward the day Tuesday on into Wednesday. So by then things will start to quiet down. So travel plans coming up for Thanksgiving, if you're leaving Tuesday or Wednesday or even on Thanksgiving Day Thursday, we have nothing to worry about. If you're leaving Monday and you're heading downstate, you might have a little bit of a travel headache here and there, but I think for the most part by Tuesday, vast majority of the roads across most of the Lone Star State are going to be okay. If you're driving off to the east into Oklahoma, should be all right. Back toward the west, if you head toward the mountains, I think by Tuesday into Wednesday should be just fine as well. It might be a little bit dicey heading up into the mountains, though, on Monday, so keep that in mind. But in terms of what's going to happen around here, I'm going to show you several different computer models in terms of the snowfall forecast for them, and then to give you an idea what we can expect. But in terms of the precip first, overnight tonight and during the day tomorrow, I don't expect much. This is overnight tonight and through the morning hours tomorrow. By the time we get to Saturday midnight, and then as we head toward Saturday morning, and this is 6 o'clock Saturday morning right here, you can see that there's only some scattered light precip, and I think some freeze and drizzle, maybe some flurries, perhaps a few pockets of sleet around. And as we head through the day, most of it hangs back toward the west. And as we head toward the afternoon, you can see a few pockets of snow starting to develop across the western parts of the Panhandle. That continues as we head toward Saturday night on into Sunday, and by Sunday morning, you can see the main area of snow. This is looking at right here. Sunday morning at 6 o'clock in the morning, you can see the areas of snow much more defined and making the way through the high plains for Sunday afternoon and on into Sunday evening. This is noon on Sunday, and then by the time we get to around 6 o'clock on Sunday, on into Sunday night and early Monday, you can see the snow quickly pushing off toward the east. Maybe a few lingering snow showers Sunday evening, but I think most of it is gone by Monday. Could be a couple lingering flurries here and there, but that's going to be about it as the heart of that upper level storm moves on top of us. Okay, now let's talk about precip totals. This is one computer model. On the low end of things, it's going to be a battle of dry air versus the moisture coming in from the southwest. The longer the dry air sticks around, the less snow we will see. This particular computer model seems to indicate that the dry air is going to win most of the battle. Then we will get some snow as we head toward the day on Sunday, but only around an inch to 2 or so. Some heavier totals possible back toward the west in the mountains of New Mexico and also farther down toward the south. But remember, farther south you go, better possibility or probability that we'll have to deal with icing concerns. Again, that's mainly down around Lubbock and points to the east from there, also across northwest Texas to the east and south of the Texas Panhandle. That's one computer model. Let me show you a second one that has a little bit more snow for us on the order of about, say, 2, 3, maybe 4 inches of snow. Again, some icing concerns down to the south and perhaps some heavier bands back toward the west, mainly west of Tucumcari and Clovis, heading towards Santa Rosa. That could cause problems on I-40 over the weekend. Keep that in mind, too. In terms of the other computer model, here's another one that shows some heavier bands of snow across the high plains that could amount to around, say, 6 or 7 inches of snow. I think that's a little bit overdone. This computer model is not handling the moisture content of the atmosphere really well right now, so I think this might be a little bit excessive as to how much snow we'll see, but I think on the order of probably about 3 to 6 inches is a pretty good bet, and I'll show you that here in just one second. Here's one more computer model, a better idea, I think, of this one. This one perhaps has a better solution in terms of snowfall totals. The areas of blue would be between 2 and 4 inches, which is most of the high plains. You can see a few spots where perhaps some of the drier air has a little bit more of a factor, more of an effect as to how much snow we see. But heavier snow bands possible back toward the west and then down toward the south as well, and could also be some icing concerns with that. Okay, all that said and done, here's a look at what I think is going to happen for most of the high plains. Around 1 to 3 inches off toward the east and northeast of us, mainly across the Oklahoma Panhandle, eastern parts of the Texas Panhandle, where the drier air is probably going to stick around a little longer. 3 to 6 inches for most of the central, western, and southern parts of the high plains. And then the heavier totals should be back toward the west, probably west of Tucumcari and Clovis, but might inch their way a little farther east if the moisture wins the battle, more so than what we have going on right now, what we expect right now. Now, in terms of the possibility of freezing rain and sleet, that would be down toward the south, mainly south of Tulia, closer to Plainview. Over toward Childress is a possibility, definitely around Memphis, could have some icing concerns. Also around Paducah could have some icing concerns as well. So Memphis and Childress kind of on the fringe of where the freezing rain sleet is going to be, but there might be some significant icing taking place down around Lubbock and points to the east from there, maybe even also down around Abilene. So if you have travel plans in those areas, again, keep that in mind. But I think for us, yes, we are going to get some moisture. Yes, we are going to get some snow. Thankfully, the winds are going to be light, so won't have as much of the blowing and drifting. It's certainly not going to be like the blizzard was back in February, but we are going to have some snow around, and 3 to 6 inches of accumulation. This is not going to be heavy, wet snow. It's going to be fairly light, fluffy snow with temperatures generally in the upper 20s to around 30. That's a little bit less than the freezing mark. If it was closer to freezing, the snow would be easier to pack and, of course, make snowmen and snowballs, so on and so forth. But I think it's going to be a lighter snow, but it's going to fall pretty much straight down. It's not going to be blowing around a lot with the wind staying light. Of course, we'll have more information as we get more data on this storm system, but for the way it looks right now, yes, we do expect some snow. Not major travel impacts, but certainly enough that it's going to slow down travel, and please do slow down and allow plenty of time to reach your destination over the upcoming weekend. I'll have more information coming up on Pro News 7 at 5, 6, and 10. Hopefully you have a great weekend. Stay warm and enjoy the snow, but please be careful if you do have to be out and drive in it.